Hello all grade 12s. We're going to do activity 1 number 2 on page 68 of your red practical textbooks. It involves a garden service and this is the interface. We are going to insert items into an array. First of all, we're going to read from this text file called gardens into an array that's already declared here in this program called Apr Gardens, which will have a maximum of 20 boxes as defined by this constant max, and each box must have a string of maximum 50 characters. So make sure you understand what that means. Then we have this counter here which will be incremented each time we add an item to the text file after reading from, an item to the array after reading from the text file. Read a line and we'll add it to the array, and that T file is our text file variable. We're going to do everything on activate. We must test if the text file exists. If not, file exists gardens.txt. Then we'll show a message and exit. Always remember that this is something that you have to do even if it's not asked of you in an exam. No, file and exit. And then we can just go ahead and assign file using that global T file variable and reset it for reading. Reset T file. And we need to get our counter to 0, and then while not end of file T file, we will then go and do a begin and end. Remember, begin and end, very important that you wrap everything up. Read ln T file into a line. Well, let's go and make it. Oh no, we're not going to read it into a line, we'll read it into the array. Our gardens, straight into the array, gardens. Square brackets, our count, but our count has to be incremented. And we can't go and read it into that array unless we go and increment our count over here. That makes sense, doesn't it? Right, so that's reading everything into the text file. Then let's say we want to display it, so we're going to display it. I'm going to write a procedure called display. Here it is there, where we are going to use a for loop counter to go through each box one at a time and display it in the rich edit. So I'm going to say already r.clear, and then for k equals 1 to r count do, right, and then already out dot lines dot add our gardens square brackets k. So that's displaying it all in the for loop. Let's run the program and see that it's working. This is all on activate event. There it is. The text file is that. Now the user must be able to add a new garden, but there's limits. If the number of gardens exceeds 20, in other words that max value over there, then we don't want to add a new garden. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to check if our count, which is the number of boxes we've got so far, plus 1, if that is greater than max, then I'm going to exit this message. We're not even going to let the user show message you cannot add a new garden address or maximum reached or anything like that. Okay, well, I say our count plus 1. Our count is the number of gardens we have already, okay, after reading from the text file, because the text file holds all the updated number of gardens. And if you add 1 and you get it greater than max, the allowed amount, then we're going to have that problem. But if that's happening, then everything's fine. Now we can go and insert an address. We're going to say, okay, let's go and get BRS address string and the position that we want to insert it into, integer. Oh, when we displayed, by the way, we should actually have into string k plus, and then #9 plus. We want to put the count when you displayed it. Let's have a look. I want to actually have this, because what's going to happen is, so they're going to choose which number they want to put the new garden in. Now the problem is we can't, if the garden is at number 10, you can't put a number 10 here. Okay, we're not allowed to put 10. We can add a 9, but it mustn't be 10, 11, and 12. So we have to be careful when we enter a garden, the position, you know, that we want to put it in. We can safely do address because we've made sure that we don't have more than 20. So I'm going to safely go say address and equals input box. Equals input box and the new address, and then that's it. But for the position that we want to put in the address, we have to do something different. So I'm going to have a repeat loop until the position that that our pos is not going to be greater than, but it's going to be less than or equal to our count plus 1, because we don't want it to be equal to our count plus 2. We don't want it to be in position, if we have 8 if we have 8 addresses, we don't want to have the new position at number 10. It has to be at number 9 maximum. So I think that would help there. So our pos equals string to int input. We have to have 2 input boxes here, unfortunately. Enter position number, and what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we're going to show them a message here and say, hey, make sure that only numbers less than or equal to int to string our count plus 1. So that is how we're going to make sure of that. Okay, and we're going to do that until we get the right number. Question is this going to work? Well, our count is obviously our global counter for the number of boxes that we have already filled. And if we add 1 to it and it goes greater than maximum, we're going to exit. So that's covered. Then the other thing is the input box for the address. Okay, we do that. But now we have the pos. We need the address and we need the position in which to insert the new address. But if the position is greater than or equal to our count plus 1, we don't actually want to insert that at that position. Let's have a look. Enter position number, only numbers less than or equal to. So if our count is 8, we can use 9, it'll be great, but we can't use 10. And this is going, and if you put in a 10, then this repeat will only stop when we get our pos less than or equal to our count plus 1. In other words, if our count's 8, that's 9. We want to have, this is going to basically carry on looping until we have the right number. So let's go and see what happens here. Right, I'm going to click the button. Okay, type in your address. Right, it's not important at this point. So, and the number's less than or equal to 9 in this case. Okay, so I can put in a 9, but what if I put in a 10? It's gonna, it's gonna stop me. Can't, no, you can't. You can't. It has to be less than or equal to 9. So, okay, let's put in a 9. There we go. So now we're safe that this repeat loop works the way we want it to do. And we know that our pos is going to be correct. So all we do now is I use our algorithm for inserting a new address. We use our 4k equals our count down to our pos, the position that is inserted. You say ARR gardens square brackets k plus 1 equals ARR gardens square brackets k. Let's just move everything up, and then That's one loop. That's going to do that in one loop. Okay, that's the end of that. And then we go over here and we say AR Gardens square brackets IPOS must be equal to S address, the address that we want to put in there at that position. And there we have it. But we also have to go and increment our count. We also have to go and display. Oops. We have to call procedure display. And we also have to go and write to the text file. So, as long as I've closed the file over here, after reading from this text file, T file, we can go and use it again, but only if you've closed it. We can use it over here, assign file, T file, and gardens. Yes, you've got to put another assign file statement in, and then you can, we're going to replace the text file that's there, rewrite T file. Why am I rewriting it? Well, they say we're going to rewrite all the names back to the text file, so that's what I'm doing, replacing the text file. And then I'm going to use my for loop with a for k equals 1 to r count do, and then write ln T file ARR gardens square brackets k. It's that statement done. Come on. So we've done that, and then before the end of this procedure, what I do is close file. If you don't put close file T file in, then it will not work. Right, now you should actually go over all of that again. Oops, why is that? Oh, right. Let's go and run the program. Add an address, state Jane Doe Street. Okay, and then we're going to say, all right, let's say I'm going to try number 10. Nah, doesn't like it. Let's go and put it in number 3. All right, we're going to put it in number 3. There we go. And, well, let's go and see the text file. There it is. And 9 J Doe Street. Did I really write 9J? So yes, I wrote 9, not 8. So it went into number 3. Everything's perfectly fine. And there our count is 9, 9. So 100% program working. Now you go and try and do that by yourself without looking and reading the instruction in the textbook. Okay.